Very good. All right, everybody, ladies and gentlemen, we are here for the June 18th, 2025 zoning citation hearings. We have, I believe, 8 items on the agenda. And at the moment, we don't have anybody here that is represented by counsel in the room. So perhaps we go right in order on the agenda.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Attorney Gary Overs. I'll be the hearing officer today. To my right, representing the city of Norwalk, is John Hayducky. He's the deputy zoning inspector, and Steve Kleppen on the outside is the director of planning and zoning. When I call your matter, take a seat at the table. If you're an interested party, you may also take a seat at the table. Also, you can attend via Zoom or telephone. The procedure I follow: the city presents its findings. You will have an opportunity to be heard. I'll hear an interested party, and we'll try to reach a resolution that satisfies everyone. Failing that, I will make a decision that may or not satisfy anyone. If you have any questions, bring them my attention when I call your matter.
All right, so first on the agenda is 318 Strawberry Hill.
Yes.
Okay. There it is.
You sit on the end and I'll sit here. Heavy chairs.
They are, and keeps everybody here. All right, there's the binder for today.
Who's here?
We are representing
Geraldine
Stouse.
Paul Inserto, nephew.
Okay, anyone who's going to testify, raise your right hand.
I don't know if I am, but I'll raise it.
Okay, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do. Yes.
Thank you.
Okay,
All right, let's
see what we got here. Okay, and let's get to share screen, and there we go. Okay, so the last time we were here was on May 7th. And I do have that hearings presentation here as well if need be. And so the matters at hand here are, we had temporary signage without permits. Well, temporary signage that was not permitted, and then some signage that was just outright not allowed. We have the occupancy of the structure, the first floor with no permits. And lastly, some parking in the front setback. So last time we were here, we continued to today's hearings, and the only requirement was that some tangible progress be made to resolution.
Well, no, the one upstairs didn't comply. Excuse me. All right, sorry. Okay.
So first item I want to show here is we went by on May 16th after our last hearings there, and the improper temporary signage was 99% removed. We have here in the corner, I can show here real quick if I can zoom in. We have a changeable copy sign, which is on a stack of tires there. Changeable copy signs are prohibited in Norwalk. So that sign is the only one that's left that is not compliant. However, compared to what this used to be, I'll pull that up very quickly here for everybody. Let me get the previous one here. See if I can get I do apologize, everyone. We had a bit of a outage with our network here this morning, so I do not have our traditional cover pages, but I think we can make do. Let's see. So this is what the issues were last time. A lot of pennant signs, temporary A-frame signs, little yard signs. These were, let's go through here, get some close-ups. So all these are not permitted in Norwalk. So they had to be removed, and there was a signage everywhere.
I guess so.
And
the blank one right up at top, the visible one.
This is so the changeable copy sign went from the fence to, as we showed in the other photos, to a little stack of tires on the side.
Right.
That one's still not legal, but as you can tell, the rest of them have been removed. The rest of the illegal signage has been removed. So that's a good thing. That's very good.
I have a question.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
You'll be heard.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's good. This is a changeable copy. That's the only issue. So this photo is of the front of the building. There is a sign for the tenant which did not have permits. And
That was there last time?
that was their last time. It's been since we started. That's been here. So just so you're aware, counselor, is that even if the tenant on the first floor gets permits, this type of signage is not permitted. They would have to get a traditional sign, and they have a sign.
Right.
They have the capability to put a sign right there on the ground on the pole sign. And here's a little close up of the that changeable copy. This is how it is visible. It doesn't seem like it. I took this photo from the opposite intersection.
Right.
This property is a little off the intersection of Route 1 and Strawberry Hill.
Right.
This was the opposite side by the Marshall's Plaza. So you can see it from that far away, and it doesn't seem like much, but also again, changeable copy signs are prohibited.
Gotcha.
So we went by again on May 30th just to make sure that things stayed the same, and at least with the bulk of the signage. And indeed, May 30th, all the messy temporary signage was removed. Again, there's that little changeable copy again there. And took a little bit, same shot as I did last, as we did on the 16th. Couldn't really say, they may have moved it just a little bit, or there may have been a car in front of it there. But you can still see the window sign for the tenant in front. So that's the signage issues.
Right.
The occupancy, we have a pretty good story here on this one. So the first floor tenant, Climate Care, came in April to attempt to get permits to occupy. Their floor plan originally indicated a commercial contractor storage operation, HVAC contractor storage.
Okay.
So we denied the application because the use is not permitted. That use is not permitted in the zone.
Okay.
So the tenant reapplied and supplied another floor plan and a narrative of how they operate there. And also, they did supply a photo as well. I didn't put it in the presentation here. The interior is clearly, as it's being used now, an office in the showroom. Pretty much. There's a little storage in the back, but it's very, very minimal. And then, so we had an original, so I would say, first resubmission. That submission was lacking a little bit of detailed measurements, and because we need to figure out for parking what the active area is, the usable floor area. That didn't have that. So I informed, I believe it was on June 11th, the applicant that you need a little better plans. And he submitted on, it's in the corner here. Let's see if I can, on June 16th, he resubmitted. There you go, June 16th. So it was a Monday.
Yeah.
Resubmitted, and, you have the plans, the plan there. Be able to start measurements, we can actually determine the usable floor area now, and we can get a parking calculation. We haven't issued the permit yet because this was just submitted to us on Monday, but it is proposing a use which, combined with the photos that were supplied by the tenant, we could permit as an office and a showroom. So then, once that is issued, the last two remaining items for the tenant would be to get a certificate of occupancy from the building department. They'll need building inspections and the fire marshal inspections. And also to take care of their sign in the window. That's a pretty easy fix. They will need permits for the signage as well through us. That's relatively simple in comparison to the occupancy aspect.
I gotta get rid of
The window sign there and that changeable copy sign. Yep, that's got to be removed as well. But that's for the tire shop. The tire shop is the one that because there is a tire shop in the back that has legal occupancy, legal permits.
It's just got the signs.
Yeah, he just got that sign. It just
You got the building permit, the fire marshal, the window sign, and the changeable copy sign left.
and
You go ahead.
and we do need to address the parking within the front here. There is some discussion as to the legality of this. So what we're doing is, so we can have ample time to address it, we're making it a condition of the approval for the tenant, for the occupancy, that this has to be addressed prior to final closure.
Okay,
So, in a nutshell, that's it. We are looking for, I am looking for I'm okay with the continuance because since May 7th, there has been movement. There's things that the signage has been removed. The tenant has applied for his permits, and I think let's keep the good progress going here. And I have the tenant's contact, email, and phone number, so I can be in contact with him to make sure things on his end keep moving along.
So P and Z will be in touch with tenants.
okay, do you want anyone want to speak on this matter?
Can I just say something real quick? I received an email from John on the 11th, and I went down there that day, told Omar down at the tire that sign had to be removed.
Okay.
So it should have been removed. I haven't driven by there yet, but I
Okay.
don't know if anybody's driven
I-
by
it
there in the
says
last couple of days.
Not in the last couple of days, so that's something we.
So it should be removed, but I'll drive there after I leave here and make sure that's removed. The other sign in the window with upstairs, Soderstrom, I didn't know that had to be removed. So I could text him and tell him he's gotta remove that sign. Cause I know he's planning on putting a sign on the posted sign that's there.
The stanchion, that's
Right.
approved, yeah.
That's fine, that's.
So I can take care of that. That'd be a quick fix today.
Okay, that's a good thing.
Okay, so that takes care of signs. So that's all we can have to them today.
Right.
So I say that was substantial progress. So let's continue this. Who wants to give me a date to continue this? What do we need next? Let me start with John.
So what is needed still is, the first step is going to be, we're going to, hopefully get an approval to the tenant on the first floor as soon as possible. That could be within a few days, or worst, a week. Then he has to go to the building department to pull the building permits that are required, if any, and also arrange an inspection with the fire marshal.
Right.
And then they gotta go through their permitting, their inspections. And then we have to do an inspection as well. And so that's the tenant aspect of it. As I say, the signage we're gonna take care of quickly. And then we just have the parking left over at the end. So to at least get the permitting through the building department, their inspections, and the fire marshal, I think that's reasonable, between 45, 60 days. That can be absolutely be done.
Okay, so 60 days, so September 17th.
We do have a September meeting, September 17th.
Is that okay with you people? Yeah,
Sounds
satisfactory.
okay.
Fine. If you need more, I have to hear it now. Okay, so we're gonna continue this to September 17th.
Right.
And we're still not gonna issue a fine since you're doing what you can do.
So our next meeting will be September 17th, and this should all be resolved.
Yep, I think the,
It
what
has
we're
to be
looking for
resolved
is
by
the,
Sorry?
it'll be everything to
Oh, is it? That's perfect.
the occupancy. We could still, if there's the parking is still unresolved, we can still work on that. We definitely want the
We're
occupancy
not gonna
and the signage to be
Okay,
completed by then.
but we're not addressing the parking today.
At the moment, we can address as part of the process for this.
Seems fine. Oral notice. Okay, so substantial progress, no fine at this time. Continue to 9/17.
Actually, I just noticed this popped up here. We have a couple of folks on the, I tell you, yeah,
Gotta get
had the
used to
three
that.
on here. Yeah, I normally not used to three.
Okay,
Um,
I will withhold my decision.
well, let me see if, who these are here for. We have Nico and Nico's note taker. If you are looking to comment on 318 Strawberry Hill Avenue, just raise your hand. Give you a second to do that. Does not look like it. So going once, going twice, sold.
That's it.
That's it. So
Okay, the decision stands.
very good. I'll leave that up so I can see it. Thank you. All right, you guys are all set.
So if I'm not available to be here September 17th, I can do a Zoom?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, I didn't.
Absolutely. Yep.
That's good to know.
All right. Perfect. You guys well.
Thank
so
you.
much.
Take care, guys.
Thanks for you too.
Yep.
These are heavy.
They are.
Yeah, they didn't change.
I know.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So if we just want to go in order of the agenda of who's here. 31 Split Rock.
Come on down.
Come on down. Okay, so let's get this together.
What do we ask now?
I can do that. That's a great idea. If anybody is here for 31 Split Rock Road, please raise your hand. Usually raise your hand. I mean, on Zoom. Sorry about that. Please raise your hand using the raise hand icon at the bottom of your screen. Going once, twice. So, okay, so I'll do a share screen here. Let me get that up real quick.
This is the one of the ones we had to continue for.
Correct.
Okay. So the owners raise your hand, raise your right hand. You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. All right.
Okay.
Mr. Hideki, you're on.
So the last time we were here was on April 16th. And at that meeting, we had there was a national Zoom outage. It lasted approximately 2 hours. Unfortunately, it was during our hearings. So we had to postpone matters, and this one we postponed to today. The owners were here at that time, so oral notice was given. They need to send notice. And the violation here is creation of an accessory dwelling unit, or formerly known as an in-law apartment, without permits. Brief history here was there was a in-law apartment in at one point in the history of this property, there was a permit in 2005 issued to remove the unit. And that permit was closed out by the officer, the zoning officer at the time. So we had to assume that we had to treat this as a new accessory apartment. So what's required? Very simply, a permit to legalize the apartment. Their zone allows for it. And the owners / applicants received that on March 27th.
Wait, 1 second.
Yep, sure.
March 26th. 1 second.
Sure.
Oh, okay.
So with the issuance of, go ahead.
That was before the April 6th.
Correct,
but we
yes.
Never heard it, okay.
Right, we just never heard it. So, the applicants, owners, went to the building department to continue the process. And while at the building department, they had to adjust their plans for some building code requirements. So a amendment was submitted to our office in May, and we approved those amendments. Excuse me, on May 23rd. There was no change for zoning. The layout stayed the same. The use stayed the same. Parking requirements stayed the same. This was more for technical building code requirements. And from my understanding from the owners, they have continued the process with the building department, and their permits are in good standing. So it's just a matter of now finishing out these permits. What's required is pretty straightforward. Building department needs to issue all their permits if they have not already, and then work has to
That's
be
not there, they've done everything they can.
to this point. They have, once the permits are issued, then they have to actually do the work.
Right, but in the meantime, they can't do anything until they get the permits.
Right, so the permits are issued by the building department. And then after that, they do the work. Building department would do their inspections. We will do a final inspection as well. And then at that point, we will, at the point of our inspection, we'll give them a affidavit, which are required of all accessory dwelling units. They'll fill that out, and once that's filled out, CO and a COZZ will be issued.
And what is the time frame that the building department usually needs?
That's an excellent question. Probably
You're
6 months.
giving me good marks for my question.
There you go. A couple of months ago, I probably would have a better idea on that. I would say definitely it's sort of the same as 318 Strawberry Hill. To at least get to the point where work could be underway and inspections being done, I think 45 to 60 days would be appropriate. And there's a chance it could be finished out by then.
So if we continue to September 17th, we should have a good.
I'm okay with that. I don't know if the property owners wish to.
Where you're coming from.
For me, 17th would be acceptable, yes.
To do that.
So if we continue this to the 17th of September and we're unable to complete the work and obtain all the permits, but continue to work towards that objective.
Yep. So if you're going through the process and his snag, another building code issue comes up or something of that nature, or something occurs that just has to put a quick stop to what's going on, send me an email. Let me know, and I can present that to the hearing officer at that hearing. It's being the hearing officer's judgment if the reason is adequate. But at least I can present that to him. If the work's not done, I at least have a reason.
I'm looking for due diligence. That's all I'm looking
Well,
for.
that we have.
Certainly.
Yes. Okay, so we'll continue this to September 17th.
So we can do that on Zoom in September?
Yes.
Because we're not here, we're out.
Okay.
End of the month, we're gone.
That's fine. We can absolutely attend by Zoom.
Okay.
And I'll send you the link. It'll be on the agenda. I'll send you a copy of the agenda with the link.
Okay. Terrific.
All right, here we go. Let him, yep.
Oh, so once again, substantial progress. I'll find at this time. Continued to September 17th, 2025. Oral notice, meaning I'm telling you right now to be here, you're not gonna get a piece of paper or anything.
Yeah, so you want to put on the, just
We're
make
not
note,
gonna be here.
right, you're not gonna be here, but the next meeting.
September 7th.
Yes,
Being
yep,
here, Zoom counts as being here.
Ah,
yeah, it's just letting you know that's when the next time you're expected to partake in the hearing.
got it.
Just for your information, where's the current fine, if assessed, could be as high as $19,500. In September, it would be another 10,000. So far, nothing, I'm not assessing anything. Nothing. If you stopped work altogether, I'd probably get you for a big fine. Okay,
Okay.
Very good.
Thank you.
You got it.
we sign this, so we don't have to.
Thank you.
All right, again.
Oh, no, you're good. No, that's just so he can, you got it. Take care.
Okay, see, very good. We must have been scared. They're all just
That's fair.
working on it.
Yeah. Let's turn this in here. And in the crowd here, we have 14 Fort Point Street. So if I may get a quick second. So. How's that? I do have that. Okay. So this one, knew there was gonna be a little issue with it when we had our issues this morning. So I do not have a presentation for today, but I do have the presentation from our last hearing. I can put that up because not much has changed.
Let me see what we did last time.
Sure. There's that. So we can do that. Make that. And then, yep. That's from yeah. Okay.
Did you do? Let me ask you this.
Yes.
Where was your write-up for last time?
I can get that. Let me just. It should be in there. Yes, it should be somewhere in there. Let me. I'll get that one for you. So let me get this organized real quick. There you go. That is it. Yeah. Even though that's the previous one, it was a direct copy. Oh, here we go. Never mind. I got a better one. I have a better one. There you go. Take that.
That was 2025. They started again.
Mm-hmm.
Sir, you're the property owner?
Yes.
Is anybody else here on this matter?
I'm gonna check right now. Okay. Anybody on Zoom here for 14 Fort Point Street? Again, if you're here, raise your hand using the app on the bottom. Those guys, not you, don't worry, all right. Going once?
Yeah.
Going twice? Done. Okay,
State your name for the record. State your name.
Shafiqul Islam.
Raise your right hand, please. You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Okay.
Yes?
Yes.
You understand the question?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Ducky, let's see what we're doing here.
so this one is pretty straightforward, for most of our matters here. To refresh everybody, this was a matter which you did, Counselor, which you did rule on back in, let's see here, back on, I'm sorry, it was not you, it was Attorney Maslin, my apologies, but he issued a fine of $7,500 on March 27th of this year.
Okay,
So that was because of a occupancy of a basement with no permits.
right.
And so Attorney Maslin issued that. And then upon a follow-up with the fire marshal's office, they had stated that there is still occupancy in the basement. So
When was that?
that was on, that would be, the exact date was violation. April 8th is what that would have been. I also consulted with our staff here in planning and zoning to see if any applications had been made to resolve, and there had not. So based on that, so this is some documentation from our April hearing. And let me just go through here real quick, see if I have anything. Nope, not on that one. So let's get this one here. So this was originally going to be heard on the 16th of April, but we had our Zoom outage. So it was put to today, and we sent a hearing notice on May 20th for today. And just on the screen there is a photo of that is where the entrance to the rear unit of the basement unit is. So because we have not received any permits, applications to physically remove the unit, we're deeming this as still in violation. And the fire marshals have also deemed that this is still in violation. There cannot be any occupancy down there whatsoever.
And when did the fire marshals last see it?
They saw it in, I believe April was the last time they were there.
Okay.
April. So the issue here is the rest of the property, the 3-family that's legal. Basement, because of conditions down there, cannot have any finished space, cannot have any occupancy. And just because the people may be removed from there, just because they're removed does not mean it's compliant. So we need permits with plans to completely remove all the finishings. It can just basically be unfinished storage is all it can be.
Okay.
So everything from sheetrock, plumbing, electrical.
Can't even have sheetrock?
Technically, no, cannot. The building department does consider sheetrocking and any sort of things like flooring and like that finishing. So if we hold it to the strict definition, cannot have that. It is unfinished storage. Classic basement and mechanical space, obviously. So that's what we're looking for. So basically we need to get a permit with plans and to approve to totally unfinish the space.
If I keep it unfinished, look like no nothing is like a store over there, and we remove everything.
Yep. Well, you can do that, that's good, but you have to get a permit to do so.
You can store stuff there.
You can store stuff, yeah.
Yeah, I can store.
Yeah, you can
stuff.
store household equipment.
And
and
also I
things.
have one question.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for that. All of mail, I live in like 12 years before step in state. I since that days, all of mail goes over there, only this one.
Okay,
So that's why I don't get on time mail. Last time I'm coming here, maybe June, I think, yeah. December 6th, I give to office
Mhm.
all documents. I'm leaving my phone number, everything. So I want to remove everything and take an appointment. So someone called me, but I take a day off. They didn't show me. So that's why I leave it like that. Remove the everything.
Well, let me take a quick look here. I'm gonna stop share her for a moment. Just to get here, so let me see. I was trying to see if according to the records we have here, an application was not submitted. So I want to see if there was.
Sorry about that. So they're gonna say, call me and whoever look at that. Then if you want to make a room, you have to take a permit.
I was making sure. I'm gonna double check everything. The last approval here we have is 1996, the last application, and we have no current.
What does he have here?
So let me just see what we have.
No, I
If I
come
may.
up, I come off page, it's off page last time. 606.
Oh, okay, so you just, okay,
Yeah.
I got it. So he picked up the application here probably in December, but we don't have it resubmitted. That's the issue. That's the problem.
No, okay, so they're gonna someone say, talk to me. If you want to make a apartment, you have to take a club application. Otherwise, the guy call you, they can look at that. I say, no, I don't need a apartment. I break down everything and look at that. That's it.
Well, did you do that?
Yeah, I do that.
So you're saying it's
Yes.
just storage?
Yeah, that's true.
So let me do this. Seeing as we have a little,
Yeah.
let's do this. First, I need to get from you. I want to get it before we leave today. I want to make sure I get a good address for you.
Okay.
I want to make sure I get. So let me do that real quick.
Do you have email?
You have an
Yeah.
email? Yeah, I think you may have sent me
I
an
mail it.
email. It kicked back, and I couldn't because it was labeled as spam. I couldn't do anything with it because I think what happened. Now I'm starting to remember. You have you put the message on the title line, so it kicked it back as spam. So that's and I couldn't do anything with it after that. But so here's what. Let me get your first. Let me get what's your address so we can mail things to.
Shafiq Islam.
Yep.
655@yahoo.com.
Oh, yeah. Here you got. Let me get a pen. I got it. I got it. I got a pen. I got one right over here. Oh, thank you, Steve. Right there. That's cool.
May I make a suggestion, Mr. McCoy?
What?
If the area is, everything's removed, maybe we just go out and inspect it next week and take pictures and close it out?
That's why I was gonna suggest maybe just arrange an inspection here, continue it to the next hearing, get out there in the next week or so.
Yeah, that works.
Right, and lastly, is that the address you want us to mail to there?
Yeah.
To 14 Four Point?
I'm living there.
Okay.
Almost, yes.
Which level are you on?
First floor.
First floor?
First floor,
Okay,
yeah.
okay, got it. Thank you.
Got a phone number too?
Let's see. Hey, we'll put your phone number on here just in case. Shoot. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll hold on to this too.
Okay.
So this way I can get it together with the permit guys as well if needed. So what I'll do is I will I'll email you and we'll figure out a day I can come out and do an inspection to see that everything is out.
Okay.
And it'd be probably sometime next week. We'll do that.
Right, so I'm gonna continue this to the next hearing. If everything's as you say, you won't even have to come here.
Yeah.
Okay, but just to make sure, okay, so. Progress limited due to, I'm just gonna say miscommunications. Continued to.
Next hearing is, next one we have scheduled. We have stuff to July, but we didn't set a date yet because I think both of us had some dates that didn't work. So we meant to,
How about skipping July, go to August?
totally up to you, but you
I'm
don't
asking
mean.
your opinion, all right?
Oh, I have a lot of things that can go into a hearing, so a July hearing would be
Okay, so
appreciated.
when do you wanna do it?
Let's see. I mean, I wouldn't mind an extra week on these things so I can get some more out, so. I am
July
not
23rd?
here, yeah, I'm only not here, I'm not here on the 2nd and the 30th, so,
23rd?
we can do 23rd, that's fine.
Okay, that's all. 22, 7, 23, 25. That's oral notice. You will be here unless Mr. Hidaki says anything. And no fine at this time.
If you wanna write it down, we'll be back here on, yeah, July 23rd. Yep, that's it, yep, and same place, right,
Okay.
yep. Oh, okay, all right,
Sorry for that.
that's all right, no, you're good, don't worry.
No, I have big trouble here. It's all of me will go misunderstanding.
Right.
Yeah.
So
I go post office too. So why one meal go over there? All of come in my house.
You should update this, your address,
Yeah.
with the tax assessor, room 106 here.
Honestly.
If you want to do that now while you're here,
Mhm.
because that's what we use to mail things to you.
Oh, okay.
So we use their address. So room 106, you can get that updated.
All right, that's
And you just
good.
gotta tell them because
Yeah,
they still have your address in Stanford
Yeah,
there.
it's a big problem. First time when I come here, finance inspector said this is not allowed to all. Okay, I say I talk to him. I break down everything. I just keep the storeroom. That's enough because everybody needs safety first.
Right, safety is absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. So I'll be in touch. We'll do an inspection probably next week.
All
We'll
right.
figure a good time.
All right. Thank you so
All right,
much.
thanks for coming in. Thank you. Yeah,
Let somebody else here set up.
I think Darlene may be here
Just
for
an
this
observer.
in general.
Okay. Part of our fan club.
Yes.
Oh, fan.
So we'll go to 13 Adams tonight.
Well, at least I want to see who these folks may be here for.
Oh, okay.
In the Zoom there. All right, so I'm here with in Zoom, going to the participant section. Nico, are you here for anything in particular?
Hi, no, I am just a reporter with Nancy in Norwalk, so I'm just
Oh, okay.
in the meeting. Yeah,
Good to know. Appreciate that. Thank you.
thank you.
Okay, very good. Okay. All right, so we can just move along on the agenda if you wish.
Mhm.
And so we'll do 13 hours. That's fine with me. Okay.
Can I ask a question?
Sure, there you go.
So what happens when the folks don't show up? In the event they don't appear,
I go with the evidence that I only have one side's evidence, and that's what I'm gonna go with.
and then it usually just goes to the next, do you, or it just depends on the evidence?
And then what happens, Mr. Hidaki has usually done more than just, he's checked things out and tells me if they're making progress or what. And it's just better to be able to have your side heard,
Right,
but I got it, as long as they have notice. I don't show up, that's their choice.
and just one more question, can fines be imposed if they haven't complied and they're not here? Or do,
Oh, sure, absolutely. Cool.
Okay.
All right, 13 Adamson, let me dig that up here. Okay.
That seems straightforward enough. Move forward.
Okay, so this is pretty easy, at least for me, in a presentation. So this was a legal 3-family that needs to be reverted to a 2-family. This was forwarded by the fire marshal's office. The upstairs, the attic, is where the extra unit is. I have been in conversation with Robert, who is the son of the owners, and they did get a permit from us in zoning on April 16th. So the only other thing I want to add is that I have not heard anything from anybody associated with the property since after our last hearing, which I believe was the 12th or so of April. I think it was April 16th. April 16th. I have not heard anything since. And the other thing I want to share with the hearing officer is, let me get this up here. This is our system and showing for permits with and approvals with zoning and building and other departments. Gibson Avenue. Second here. So reading this, our little database here, 2025 is the permit that was just on the screen here to revert to a 2-family residence. And Z means zoning. There are no other permits here. There's no building permit, and there's no electrical permit, there's no mechanical permit. So since April 16th, there's been no permit pulled for the building department, because that is the next step. And so I would argue that there could have been more progress made by now. Maybe the project would not have been completed by now. But if diligence had been done, if they weren't completed, it'd be very close. And the remedy that needs to be done is actually not all that difficult. The remedy is very simple. They can just remove a door between the attic and the first floor, the attic and the second floor, and remove a kitchenette. Otherwise, they just have a living space, a bedroom, and a bathroom, which, if it's integral with the floor below, we actually allow.
Okay, so
So there's the options here are, if we were to issue a fine, yeah, the only negative, it's not a negative for me. The only negative is that we would have to start with a new citation.
I understand,
So we'd
we'd
have
have
to
to just
set
get
that.
it done though.
Right, then the other
How
option,
finally issued, then it starts
Starts.
zero, and there's,
yeah, climb again.
and they're,
If,
they're upset and not getting any progress.
right, the other option is,
Taking the money that they could have used to fix this.
right, or we could, if we continue, I believe the fine right now, the maximum fine is in the neighborhood of 10,000, I believe.
33,000.
33,000. I get them confused sometimes, sorry. So that's pretty high. If it was something a touch lower, maybe like, you know, 5 grand or something, maybe we take it one more month to see if they get the hint, but
Well, give them a
mean-
contingent fine,
could do that.
and that way they see a number, but they can still cure it. So you see, I don't have evidence from them. For all I know, they've been doing everything, but they're not here, so I have to go just by what John puts out. Okay, so I'm gonna say, let's do a contingent fine of something significant that should wake them up. I got a lot to work with here.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
And we're gonna continue it.
It's a matter of how much do we want to,
I would just go a month. I gotta get,
okay.
that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, that's fine. That's then our 23rd, July 23rd. Okay. And that would add approximately another 49.50 to it. Yeah.
John, how soon does the notice of the contingency fine go out to them?
Tomorrow, well, Friday's mail. We do send it we send assess fines via Constable Bondi. Could have him send this one,
Yeah, make sure.
but the issue here is the owners are in Florida. The actual owners are in Florida. I don't think we want to pay for Peter's vacation.
But you can write to them in Florida. You could send them
No, it gets sent in the mail. I can even send it certified,
send it certified.
and I can send it to Robert via Peter.
Right, let's do that. I don't want to be hitting them for all this money if they don't know what's
Is
going
their
on.
email address on the zoning permit?
I can say, let me take a quick look.
You could email it to them too.
Yes, that is. I've been in contact with Robert, who's up here. But yeah, there's
I would send it to
both of them. Okay,
No.
I can do that.
Oh, they do have some of them.
It's the July date, 17th,
23rd.
whatever.
Hey,
Well, we're filling up the calendar.
there we go. Good. That's a good thing.
Issue a contingent fine of $10,000. Violation continues. Okay, so that gives me a lot of room. I can double it if they don't do anything.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Like that. So next on there, I believe, is 14 Fort Point. We did that. 19 Adams Lane. Maybe the next one. This one, well, it's a new one. Yeah, kind of a request for a continuance, somewhat from an attorney, and I'll explain. I will explain.
Okay.
So there's a memo. There's a whole big book of evidence there. And share screen. Yeah. Okay. You know when you're ready there, Counselor?
Reading this.
Oh no, good. Yeah, no.
Gotcha.
Okay. So this one has a little bit of a history that kind of came a little full circle
Yeah, I see.
here. So we received a complaint.
I'm
Okay.
sorry, did we show me that they got notice?
Oh, it's in It's in there. Not that one. No, that's it. That's an old one. We'll get that. There's a citation there. There's one service, two service.
Okay, so I'll set notice on this.
Okay. So this here, we received a complaint April 16th of this year, 2025. And subsequent research found that the property owner had come into our office last year to obtain permits to create a accessory dwelling unit, in-law apartment. And we had been working with them.
23.
Yeah, in 23 had previously come in to
Okay.
do this. He applied, needed plans, needed, the whole kit and caboodle.
Right.
He was told this, and we were told that he informed us he would be getting more plans. He'd be getting better plans. Then he kind of, lack of better terms, went away. Flash forward to 2025, we got this complaint about possible illegal occupancy, illegal apartment, possible illegal rooming house. So on April 24th, I got permission from the neighbor who filed the complaint to do at least exterior inspection to see if I could see anything obvious. And those pictures are on the screen here. This is the driveway or entrance, dirt driveway. This photo was taken from the neighbor's yard this is the rear of the house. So that a separate entrance from what's in the front of the house. And so this is the entrance to this sunroom is actually the entrance to the primary front of the house. So it's in front here.
It's like on the second floor.
Nope, this is one level. The whole house is the whole front of the house is one level. It goes two levels in the back.
Okay, cool.
So didn't get much from those, but I went and did a little online research, and Zillow sometimes helps me out.
Okay.
On here, first page says 1 unit, a townhouse, by their standards, I guess. And then a second page for an apartment. And this is Adams Lane number B. So, and these are photos here of and there, I have them in your packet there. These are photos of the living space on the inside of where the apartment is. And these are pictures I couldn't have gotten because I have no access to it. So based on that, I sent a notice of violation May 12th, initial notice of violation.
Yeah.
Because we had the owner's email from our previous dealings with the office, I sent him a courtesy email saying, "Hey, I'm sending a notice. Can this is a violation. We need to take care of this." And he responded, and those emails are here. And he was a little upset, but got him to the point where he seemed to agree that something needs to be done. However, that was sent on May 12th, that notice.
Right.
On May 13th, I have this on the screen, early in the morning, there was a fire at the property.
Oh.
Within 12 hours of me sending
the
notice. This was the press release from the chief in the fire marshal's office. Kitchen fire in basement.
Okay.
Originated in the basement and traveled to the floor above the void spaces. 11 occupants displaced. This was supposed to be a single family house.
I see it, yeah.
So, that's pretty strong evidence there. Fire marshal confirming that. And then lastly, because of the fire, the building department, Bill Ireland, chief building official, issued a unsafe structure letter.
Right.
The reason I included this is A, to show that there is nobody, bare minimum, there's nobody in the premises right now.
Okay.
Two, they are given 30 days to respond to this. That's per state code to the unsafe structure letter.
Right.
That could simply be contacting the building department for next steps for permitting, to supply a permit or supply an application for demo.
Mhm.
That's why I wanted to show that that brings us to June 20th. They have to do something by.
Mhm.
But what we do, I've done this for years, and my predecessors have done this. In situations like this, we send a citation to ensure that the owner keeps on this, doesn't try to just let it sit there. If nothing else, even if they have no intention on doing repairs to bring it back to the illegal situation, it doesn't leave a blighted property, burned out shell of a
Yeah,
house.
yeah.
So I sent that to the owner, and I copied him again as a courtesy.
Right.
And so we were back and forth a little bit, and in your packet there's the last couple of pages is, yep, is a letter that was sent to me by an attorney via email.
This letter, let me see.
Yeah, go ahead. So just for those at home, it was the attorney sent the letter seemingly on behalf of the owner to request a continuance. However, there's a statement in there saying that this attorney, this firm has not been retained by the owner of the property, but they still sent a request for a continuance even though they're not officially retained, which is a bit odd. I don't think I've ever seen that. Be that as it may, yeah, be that as it may. We're still at the same point where, again, there's no occupancy there. But we want to make sure that the owner does pull permits and gets this reverted back to a single family. And I will put on the record as well, the owner states that he lives at that premises. I have in your packet there have several documents showing that while that's where the tax bill goes, he does not live at the premises. So he actually lives in Greenwich. So if he implies he can get an accessory apartment or an ADU, he cannot because he does not live there. One of the requirements for the accessory apartment is
How
that
do
he
you
must.
know he lives in Greenwich and not here?
We have first we have a document from the health department. The health department sent a letter to the postmaster in Greenwich to verify that mail is delivered to that address and accepted by Mr. Coe. And that is signed by the postmaster. I have a copy of it in there, signed and stamped by the postmaster that he does indeed get mail and accept it in Greenwich, added to residential property. Also, I did a little research through Zillow. There's a convenient link of previous people who previously resided at 19 Adams, and at one point he did reside there. The next paragraph down says currently resides in
Okay,
Greenwich.
answers
So
my question.
I have a few things there showing he does not live there. If he wants to later on, as he's permitting this challenge, he can't, has every right to, but it's not gonna go far.
Okay.
So a continuance is, I think, acceptable here. Because he does need to get permits, and technically his requirement by the letter of the law for action from the building department has not expired. It
Okay.
expires on Friday. So I think given that from a legal perspective, I think given a short continuance to see what happens is appropriate.
Sounds like July 17th.
We could, 23rd.
Well, keep saying 17th. I'll probably show up on the 17th.
You're more than welcome.
Where everybody is. Okay, where's my,
What should be back?
I know,
Oh, there you go. There's the postmaster verification.
I believe it.
I've never seen a postmaster verification, but I'm glad to know that that can be done.
Yeah.
That's something that can actually be done. I learned something on this.
Yeah. Okay, so this is a new matter, basically.
Correct.
Where's page 2? They managed to make the form 3 pages without doing anything constructive.
Yep.
But he is in violation.
Yes, I am making the point that he is in violation. Because just because there was a fire there does not mean the violation is secured.
Continue to
July
July 23rd. Need. All right.
This is why it just, you never know what's in these properties. If you don't get into them,
Right.
you never know what's in there. And 11 people,
Yeah,
that's a lot. That's
that
bad.
could have been a disaster.
That could have been. I've said it once, I'll say it again, and I know I'm on the record and all that, but some of these situations, and all our fire department is the best around, as far as I'm concerned. I've seen a lot of these situations where these things could have made national news, but their actions prevent that. That's
Good,
Right,
let's
to them.
stay out of the national news
Yeah,
for those reasons.
That's a very good idea. Okay, so let's see, who is next?
We only have 3 left, but there's a lot of writing.
It's just the regulations are that lengthy and
Oh, okay, good.
don't really have a choice. They gotta copy the regs and put them in there, so. So next one would be 5 Mulvoy. This one's a fun one. I think it's fun. Let's see. There we go. Okay.
Is anybody waiting for anything?
No, it's still the same,
Okay.
same ones as before there, so. Yep. Okay. So here's the. I'll get the share screen going again.
Where's phone?
5 Mulvoy, yeah.
Where's,
Where's the property?
yeah,
Oh, it's here, I'll pull that up. Let me I'll pull that up for those at home as well. So I'll stop sharing this. And I will share this. So 5 Mulvoy is, so you know where South Norwalk train station is?
Yeah.
Obviously. So on the south side, you have the parking lot that's here. Let me put the aerial photo on. So here's Henry Street, here's the parking lot, train station here. This would be on the New Haven bound side. Here's the extension of the parking lot. 5 Mulvoy is this little triangle here. All this.
Gotcha.
So, and our activity here is in the back here and in this white portion, right, white roof portion here.
You got a lot of pictures from you.
Well, I got my ways. I have my ways here.
Don't tell me.
I won't do that.
Wow, good pictures.
Well, some of those aren't from me. So, there's a little story behind these.
All right.
Let me know when you're ready there.
Okay, so just show me the notice.
The oral notice.
Oh, he's been here before?
Well, yes and no. He was here, his first go around was supposed to be during our Zoom outage that we
Okay,
had.
so we continued and gave him notice.
Notice
Okay,
period. Yep.
we got notice, fine.
Okay, so I'll try and be as it's tough for me to do here to go through these as quick as possible. But I think the best way to start this here would be a quick go back, and I'll put them on the screen here, to the hearing that was on April 16th. That was supposed to be on April 16th.
Right.
That we didn't have. I have my pictures here to give you an idea of what was there. And I'll zoom in a little bit. There we go. So this was an inspection that I did on March 28th. The violation is for an illegal auto repair. And this is contained within that white roof building that you saw from the aerial photo.
Right.
Yeah, we got 2 cars on jacks and on lifts actively being worked on. So that's inside the building. Outside, cars being worked on, no tires on jacks. 2 of them here, hood to hood. Then just a absolute pile of cars and parts and mechanical goodies in the back. And you can see here's the kind of see the top of the track. The train tracks are right here. Car under a tarp and a tractor. Sure. So this was my inspection on March 28th. We sent notice on for this. Oh no, I'm sorry. I apologize. My apologies. The reason we didn't send the initial notice on this is that in February, the hearing officer assessed a $3,000 fine for the same violation.
This was me.
I'm fairly certain I can give you that. I didn't put in my presentation here because I was like, oh, we already did this. But it was you. Here's the documents. Yeah, and here is the request for judgment from sent to Corporation Counsel for Stanford Court.
Okay, so let's back to square one.
Yep. So we went back to square one and sent a new citation, and that got us to the April 16th hearing. So since April 16th, now I have my current presentation. So on April 16th, the property owner was here, actually sat directly behind you there. He had sent me in the afternoon at about 2 o'clock a whole heap of photos via email. And I got the email there. And saying that it was resolved. First, I had no chance to get out there, being how close it was to the hearing. So I said, all right, I will go out and take a look and review your photos. On the screen now are the photos that were supplied with the email. There's no cars and no jacks, but there's still a lot of stuff in there. Various equipment. I think that's a stack of dryers. That's interesting. And then, this is just this is the inside. Are there cars in there? No, but you can see that there's speedy dry that's put on the ground here to soak up oil. Oil spot here looks relatively fresh. As a wide view of the garage space. There could be car parts up there. I don't have enough detail to suggest what they may be. This is the exterior. I still got an oil spot out here, but there's no cars, no equipment. And again, these were submitted by him that day of our hearing. Pretty empty. There's some one car in the piece, but much better than the previous photos. And this, he took a photo, from reading his email, this was like the night before. They're getting trucks and cars, they're getting everything out of there. This was in the street. I don't know why I took a picture of that. And this was he put this in to say this was a tractor, not a car. Makes no mind to me. It's a motor vehicle being repaired. That's fine. Same thing. And then I don't know why he sent me a license plate. So I'm gonna go past that. So I made several attempts to get into this property. Twice I went down there, and as I was walking down, there were individuals that were in front of the property that would not allow me access. And I'll just leave it at there were individuals that I did not want to get into confrontation with. So I walked away. One time I tried to get down there, there were just cars in the access. I couldn't even wiggle by. So finally, June 16th, I was able to get in there with the fire marshals. Obviously, illegal auto repair. They're very interested in this stuff too. So these are all cars. They don't seem under repair, except the Jeep in back there may be under repair. Still have that blue piece of landscape equipment back here. There's an awful lot of cars here. And this was never here before. As far as I can tell, this wasn't here prior. It's a back half of a truck, of a clamshell on a truck. So when you have a pickup truck, you put that on top, so you have looks like a truck, a car. And it's kind of, they may be hard to see. I'll go in a little bit. But on the ground, you see little bits of silver here. Those are brake calipers, like clips. So, and there was a lot of, and then plus this is a fresh oil filter box right here. So I'm inclined to think, and if this was here since April, it would not look relatively new. Now that it would be disintegrated, and it's a small thing, but I do believe that's important. Couldn't get inside the garage. There was one individual on the property. Spoke Spanish, but fortunately, one of the fire marshals I was there with was able to translate, and he said he couldn't get in there. And the fire marshal just asked him, "Is there still repair going on back here?" And the guy was a bit, lack of better terms, wishy-washy about it. Said, "No, not a lot. We do sometimes. We'll change, change oil or something like that, but we don't do the body work and things like that anymore." Well, the thing is, you can't do anything back there. Can't. The zone doesn't offer any auto repair whatsoever. This is one of our new zones where they want to make this a nicer residential mixed use zone. And then plus we also have a derelict car underneath the tarp and all this. Here, there's brake pads back here, there's brake drums, and then way in the back here, I see that's a, what are those? They're like, it's like a car jumper, a battery jumper. That's it. So why would you have that if there was no auto repair going on back there? It was just parking. And lastly, and this is a close-up, that's a hoist, or part of a hoist back there. I don't know what these are, to be honest. I'm not sure what those were. And then lastly, that's pretty nasty. Spent oil and other lovely fluid. Totally improperly stored. Fire marshal's not happy about that. So given this, I'm of the mindset there's still a violation. Has it improved? Being completely honest and forthright, it has improved. It's not to the level it was when I was there, but then again, I've only been back once, been able to get in there once. If we're going just basically on, if we're going just on those photos from the 16th, it is better.
Mhm.
I wouldn't, two reasons I would hesitate to say it's cured. One, there's still some implements there, and the testimony of the guy that was there.
I can't.
I
can't use that.
right. I borderline thought about getting the fire marshal here, because he was the one talking to him, but you know, and but B, you know, it seems like, you know, there's still people back there parking things back there. They're still there. So I guess I'm looking for at least a.
You're continuing it to August though, why?
I want to get out to see if the owner makes a claim that it's cured. I want to make sure, because I mean, even though there's no permits or anything for anything around there, even if they're just parking passenger vehicles, they're just parking. I really don't care. Technically, I could probably do something about that, but it's minor. But if they're, I want to see if they're working on it to any degree. We could issue a small fine now. And then I would just send a new citation anyway, if need be, for the August.
At all?
Well, we find them that 3,000 back in.
Well, no, I didn't do anything, so. I'd rather let the fine build up. Let me see what we got now. We fined them 10,000, and we're back to square one.
We are back to square one.
What's the best way to get some progress? I'd rather,
I think,
I like the way you're putting this. We fine them, all we've done is cost them money and piss them off. If we tell them you got till August, and then the fine is showing up.
I think I think this may be a case that you're right. I did list out some things there. I think if on the decision form, if we just include these three things must be done, because if they're not, then we have every right to hit them for. He can't come in and be like, well, we did this
$20,000.
Right, that would be a big hit at that
Okay.
point.
All right,
Let's try to make it crystal clear to him, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yes, okay, but now we gotta put that in English now.
that's fair, and it can be tough for me sometimes.
Yeah. Okay. Violation continues, but substantial progress. Okay. So now I want to say need. Items one. All repair activity, all automotive repair activity removes completely. Need. Inoperable, unregistered, or under repair. City staff be permitted an inspection. Can we order that?
Well, you can say that I can get out there, and then I would invite everybody else.
Okay. Zoning. Staff. Be permitted access to inspect. All done by 8/13/25 hearing. And then I'm going to issue Might as well go for the whole ball of wax, the whole 20,000.
Might as well. That would be the, I think the grand total was like 20,000 and like 100, so 20,000.
20,000.
Yeah.
Fine. Put an asterisk here, because I ran out of room.
Yeah.
$20,000 fine.
Contingent?
No, it's not even contingent. I'm just saying, not done.
Well, so, okay, all right, contingent, okay, gotcha. Yep, if not done.
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right.
If they do 98%, I can always.
You should do that though, yeah, yeah, sure.
That's, okay, so now I'm saying, need notice.
Mhm.
Anything else I forgot here? Violation continues. Okay, that's all we need. They'll see that they're looking at a $20,000 fine. They'll say, oops.
I mean, completely honest, I feel that if the owner is renting this to somebody to quote unquote park cars there, whoever's doing it is not being honest here. And I would say, hey man, you gotta get them out. You know, that'd be my
The
suggestion.
owner is finding the $20,000 fines, and that rent is not gonna cover it.
Right, no matter what he's charging them, right? Because parking is a hard thing down there, so I can understand if he.
Believe me, I understand parking.
This is getting a bit,
Supposed to do, but that's not my job.
right.
Keep riding pedestrians, I'm just gonna reinforce that,
Mm-hmm,
we'd all be pedestrians,
yes,
gonna get through the street.
that's right. Okay, next one on the list, I believe, is 145 Water Street. That's the next one. Here. Here. That'll be that young again. Be that young. Water Street. Oh, stuff. So this is a new one as well. But not all that, at least in that.
Oh,
Yeah, I'll call you right back. I'll call you right back, Steven.
Harvey,
I caught you guys.
you did, but maybe 30 seconds too late. He's 5 mole boy.
Tell you what,
Okay.
man showed up, so it's a little late,
Yeah, I had my son, my babysitter, so
let's,
yeah. Was Taylor also on for today, or I got something for August, something on
August.
August,
I'll
okay.
tell you what, we're halfway, let's just finish this one.
We'll finish this one. Yeah, we
Yeah.
got one more, so I'm going.
You want me to step out?
Yeah, if you want to step out, so you can finish your call.
Yeah.
Get this finished, because this looks quick.
It is. It can be quick. Okay. So this is 145 Water Street. We know when you're right. I want to make sure I put something in here real quick.
You got the request for continuance, let me see that.
That I have. Yes, says from attorney Attorney Russo, man. Email, I got email is 2 pages, continuance is 1.
I'd say what's a continuance? What's the problem here?
Well, we either ask for we can give them the continuance, we can say, well, we're not hearing this today, we're not looking at this today. It's up to you.
Well,
Normally for continuances, we at least
yeah, but
find and I think Chris is admitting to the violation here. I think he wants to resolve it.
Yeah.
So I think it wouldn't harm to,
just
at
show
least-
me evidence of the violation and we'll.
we can do that. So, again, I'll zoom through this. It's not a hard one. Back in January, I joined the fire marshals and the building department on an inspection of a property that they had for a stop work order and unsafe conditions, double whammy. So I joined them on the inspection because at the actual request of the owner, because he wanted to get everybody that would be needed involved. So we did inspection top to bottom. And this is what we found. So lower level of the building, these are partitions for a new office, new offices. This is where the building department got them because they did all this framing and new electrical and HVAC, no permits. They do have a rear bay door and there's a commercial vehicle in there at the moment. The commercial vehicle is the commercial vehicle here is for a colonial woodworking. It's out of 145 Water Street, Norwalk, Connecticut. So woodworking is not permitted in the zone. So if it's just parking there, they may just parking may be okay. But I have to assume the worst here, that they are organizing and storing things here. So that is just not permitted. And let's see here. Okay, that was good. Oh no, here we go. New bathroom on the lower level, no permits whatsoever. Partitioned walls, electrical. And then this here, little woodworking bench. So it might be for that guy in the truck. No confirmation. It could also be related to the installation of the bathroom. That's a fair argument as well. Then we move to the upper level.
I gotta
Yep.
stop us.
Sure.
I'm not sure we should be doing this without the ask for a continuance. We're still doing the hearing.
That's always been something even Attorney Barbarula, when he first started, always wrestled with, is that they want a continuance, but they don't seem to be suggesting, in most cases, some cases they do, but in most cases, they're not challenging the violation. And the only reason we uphold the violation, and it's like, I appreciate that you do this, and sometimes Attorney Matham doesn't, is if you hold the violation and 15 days passes, there's no longer an appeal on the violation. So, but we haven't fined them, we're not finding them. And especially in this case, as in most cases, the continuance request does seem to, lack of a better term, admit fault. Or at least admit that there's an issue that needs to be resolved. So,
But my problem, we are.
at the end of the day, I'll skip forward a little bit. At the end of the, okay.
You offered him to come by,
Mhm.
and then he said. Said he could be there, but you sort of let him off the hook.
I said, if you wanted to submit a continuance request, you can. And that's, I give that to everybody, is that you can submit a continuance
I
request.
can't. he's under the impression that there's no hearing or evidence is going to be sought. I don't want to find the guy a violation when it's been told it's continued.
I mean, that's,
We gotta do it. We just have to do that. If you didn't grant him the continuance and you said we will have the hearing and, but I can't let him sit there, oh, I got a continuance, and then the next thing he gets is a finding of a violation, we didn't put any evidence in.
well, that's right. I'm trying to recall my email there. I do have it in front of me. I can pull that up. Is if I offered, did I say there was going to be a decision form rendered? That is where I would. There is Mr. Russo. There we go.
Yeah, I think you let him off the hook here. I don't have a problem with that.
Well, I mean, I was gonna say continuance is appropriate anyway, because he needs to,
Yeah, he just got the case and
he got the case and
And I
the resolution isn't something that can be gotten in, 10 days or 15 days. So, I mean, regardless in this case, the continuance is probably gonna happen anyway.
I'm just gonna say it's continued for request of counsel. This is, let me just take a quick look here. He hasn't done this 10 times in a row.
No, this is the first time.
This is new. Right?
Yeah, this is a brand new one. Yep, I think the citation was always done in
Okay, so
like last week or the week before, so it's not a huge.
continued for request of counsel. New date is
September 17th, I think it was.
9/17/25. Made notice. Now, you could just check with Attorney Russo if he'll accept notice.
All right.
Sometimes they just, this way the guy doesn't have to be harassed as the lawyer's handled it for him. And
Yeah, I mean,
good notice if the lawyer's accepting.
well, that's what I mean. I'll ask him, is this acceptable for notice for your next hearing on the 17th? And he could write back, yes, that's fine, and
Right.
we'll be there. That saves us
Yeah.
time later. So we can do that. Here you go. There you go.
Just uncomfortable.
And we do that, I'll be completely honest, we've done that a lot. And, that is true. I've always, the ones who have said, hey, there's we're agreed that we want to resolve this. I look at it as, okay, they're kind of saying there's a problem here.
That wasn't evidence.
Yeah, no, that's fair. So I'll take that. It's also always for that, and I'm not saying Attorney Rose is a very good attorney, that I would, to me, it was always it's a matter of, if we make a decision here that the violation stands, that's after 15 days, not appealed.
Now, I got that, but I don't know there's a violation if he can walk in with evidence proving he's cured everything and we didn't give him a chance.
Right. Not right. And no, I get it. This is, we can change our ways.
We can figure out a different way.
We can figure out a different approach.
Say no continuance. But that's crappy too.
It is. Yeah, I wouldn't. Yeah. All right, Arby, come on up.
Hold on, that was 85 Gregory, right?
Nope, that was 145.
Oh, we still got 85 Gregory.
We do.
And this is Mulvey. Okay, we're gonna reopen Mulvey.
All right.
Let's
do that.
to give the
There's a decision form here. So
we'll rescind the $85,000 fine.
I know, right?
Good time.
Okay.
I found it.
Yeah.
Okay,
So, I mean, Council, I can do this very quickly, very simply, or you want me to go through the whole spiel again?
He's gotta know what
Right.
he's gotta know why he would drag them here.
We dragged him here because we had a Zoom outage the last time we were
Now,
Yeah.
but why was he dragged here last time? He's gotta know, he's gotta hear what we have against
here.
him.
Okay, so I think he's,
I'm aware.
He's aware.
If
Yeah.
anything.
You wanna waive his
Well,
evidence?
I'll do a quick presentation of what I've seen since the last time we were here.
Yeah,
I think that's a fair.
Yeah.
No need to go back all the way to February. I don't
No.
think we don't need to do that. So let's get that up here. Okay.
I'm actually curious.
Yeah, sure, no problem. Those should look familiar to you.
Those I sent to you, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Let me just get the Zoom back up to share screen here. Share screen. There we go. Okay. So these were the photos. Bless you.
Bless you.
Oh, salute.
That means it's true.
That must be it, yeah.
Okay,
So so what I presented here was I presented your email here.
Yeah.
Well, he's sneezing.
That's true.
There,
Bless
yeah.
you.
make fun of handkerchief.
So yeah, he's allergic to a good time apparently.
Yes. Especially after 5.
Okay, let's try again.
Yeah.
So I went through your email photos to show what was taken out and what was still there. So long story short, like a lot of it looks like the lifts, the equipment, the tools, gone. Exterior looked fairly clean, nothing crazy out there. Again, it's this open lot, nothing out of this world. We have these photos here, which I appreciate. The note here is an old, photo showing that, what was there at that point. I don't want to say it was irrelevant, but you guys were looking at those newer photos.
Yeah.
But it's good to know that was.
No, that guy lives across the street.
Swear.
Oh yeah, we gotta swear you in. Actually, throwing us for a loop here, Army.
Yes, sir. Getting too excited.
State your name,
RB Gaga.
raise your right hand, you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do.
Okay, now talk to us.
But
Yeah, so I the car, so this guy is
Yeah.
a tenant who lives across the street, parks, which I have a couple of other people that park in the back there. It's more than this guy sort of pays for parking somewhat, I guess you should call it, but there's 10 tenants on the other side of the street.
Yeah.
And it's sort of open season on first come, first serve for parking. Some of them fixed their cars. There was one guy that I rented the actual space who was doing some of this funny stuff. I chased him, he chased him. I don't know. So I stopped by there 2 weeks ago. Today I knew this was coming. So 10 days ago, I think I stopped by there, and then two nights ago, something. And it's the same. That tractor is a tenant, so he's not fixing. It's never been.
it's just there.
There. That little tractor.
Right.
He's a landscaper, which the guy with the blue car is also the landscaper.
Right.
That's his.
Well, I'll show you the pictures I got. So just so you're aware, so I tried to get in there to the property in May.
Yeah.
I tried to get in there. As you're probably aware, there's a group of guys that hang out in front there. They physically prevented me from getting in there.
No.
Yeah. I said we're coming back. I think, I don't know if it was because we were with the fire marshal and they had the badges. I don't know. But they just would not move for us. And then one time I tried to get back there, I'll be honest, they had it was like 2 cars deep. I couldn't get in there.
Yeah.
So I just drove by. I was like, whatever. Long story short, because of that, I'm one of those guys. I don't mind a little confrontation, but I was outnumbered. So I was like, I'm not doing this.
They're all drunk, so you probably would have been down.
That's a fair assessment. Fair assessment. So finally, I got back there. The fire marshals and I were actually around the corner.
Okay.
So we decided to take a walk back there. So these cars are all registered. They all got plates. They're all valid. So parking, like I said, parking your cars is not a big deal. That's not a problem. Still have, little car junk here, not huge deal.
So that's
but what we did find this was interesting. So I probably should have a little bit better of a close up of it. It's a case of oil. And it looked like it was fresh, like they had just, it was just used. So even the fire marshal was like, like that's, somebody was changing some oil. Now, that's not, again, not a huge deal, but you know, when we have the complaint of people doing auto repair back there,
Yeah.
it definitely doesn't look good if somebody, even if they're just doing a one-off, changing their oil back there.
Yeah.
And plus, it's just not good. I mean, we got enough oil stains and stuff back here, you know, if we could try and limit that, that's ideal. They couldn't get inside, because nothing was open. So we had this car here. I think it was one that you showed me under the tarp, but I don't know if it was the same one. This is only like the front end's gone on this thing, most of it. It is a junk, in all intents and purposes, a junk car.
When was this, 6/25?
The 16 Monday.
Monday.
This was Monday. And then along the building, there was still some items here. You know, you have this is a a jumper for a car. They had so a tire, not bad, but on the other side of this, parts of these are hoists. So it cranks in, grabs it. So this is a part of a hoist. Now I'm not saying they still use it, but it's there. Lastly, the fire marshal's not happy about this. Yuck. That's spent oil and goodness and water and junk. Have somebody get rid of that. And then plus also into the ground still, there's some, you have brake clips, some calipers, some discs here. So given this, I was telling my suggestion for the hearing officer was, one more continuance so I can monitor this. So I can get out there again, make sure that this is all gone. And then if it is, I'm gonna get out there one more time with the fire marshal, because again, the little stuff like this, he wants that gone as well. I don't know if he sent anything to you, but just to get us out there, make sure it's all cleaned up. You know, maybe check with one of the guys that has the parking back there, make sure he's not still trying to get something out from, behind your back.
Yeah.
Because it's not, I'll be the first to admit, this isn't blindingly concrete evidence, but there's still activity there. I think is probably more than what you saw back in April.
Yeah. No, I mean, because I was going consistently.
Yeah.
And this, I think I've seen that bucket quite, and the stuff on top of that tile.
Yeah,
that tile, believe it or not, has been there since Kochi, and there's people.
Oh, Kochi, yeah.
So,
this might be this stuff here.
Yeah,
this might be the time. I'll be completely honest. If you can get some guys in there and just clean.
No, I'll clean it up and I'll get
because that's also the guys at Blight. I don't know if they've come in here on this property, but if they see this is.
Yeah,
they're gonna.
Well, I have. I mean, so with them, I have because I have the architects drawing up plans to get this thing demolished,
right? To get it knocked down. Right,
yeah.
Right.
And that's why I haven't really done much.
I think just getting that stuff cleared out of there, figure out what's going on here. That's step number 2. And lastly, see if they can get this.
That is Hector has the same blue guy. That's his Jeep hardtop.
His hardtop.
Yeah.
If you're letting him.
Yeah, I'm actually letting Phil take advantage of the situation.
Yeah, but also if that goes inside and that's the only thing in the garage, I'm okay with that. Because it's clearly not something that's being repaired.
No, he's not.
So just put that in there. So if somebody asks, that's the thing, people that, there's people in the area and people who park there and the parking authority gets complaints. That's what started all this.
Okay.
Parking authority gave it to me. So.
You think you can send me all these? So I can.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'll scan this.
Because I'm gonna go because I've made it clear, and the guy's wife speaks good English, and I speak decent Spanish to at least tell him.
Yeah, and the last thing I presented to Attorney Overs when you weren't here was that we were there. Just this for your information, more than Attorney Overs, is that there was somebody it wasn't a blue Jeep, it was another Jeep,
a red Jeep.
No, it was like a camouflage kind of color, like a green.
Oh, yeah,
kind of color. Yeah. But anyway, one of the fire marshals, fluent in Spanish, talked to him and said bluntly, "Do you guys fix cars and repair things back here?" And he was, best term I can put, he was wishy-washy about it. He was like, "Well, we don't do the stuff inside anymore. We don't do body work. We don't do that transmissions and things anymore." He's like, "Well, we change oil sometimes change tires, things." And I had the fire marshal tell me, you can't do that. You can't. So that's not really admissible for evidence for a decision here, but for you to know that there may be aspects that they're kind of still doing some stuff back there.
Yeah.
So I'll send these to you. I'll send these to you. We're off tomorrow, so
Okay.
I'll send it to you on Friday.
No problem.
And this way you can
Yeah.
get to them. So
Why are you off tomorrow?
Juneteenth,
I'm not off,
you could be.
okay?
We couldn't. So Attorney Over, he originally made a decision there. I don't know if you want to still. You want to
Here's
present
what the
that?
decision was, and you can argue whatever you want. But basically, all items related to automotive repair be removed completely. All inoperable, unregistered, or under repair vehicles be removed completely. And that the staff, Mr. Ray Ducky, has a right to inspect. He gets, give him access to inspect.
Yeah, I
So
mean,
if those three are done, we continued it to August, so you have 2 months to get all that done. And then I put a fine in if it's not done of $20,000.
jeez.
If it's not done. If it's not done. So a little motivating.
Yeah, that's a motivator. If it's 98% done and the guy finishing the drop dead, I'm not gonna.
Yeah,
But I need real progress.
yeah. No, I thought we're there.
Yeah,
These little things, I mean, that if you, to me, that probably, it's so much better than it's been.
oh yeah, no,
Historically.
I showed him the pictures from when
Yeah.
we first started, and it's a
Even
big
before
difference,
that,
yeah.
even before I ever got involved.
Yes.
with
See,
it.
now that you're here and you've explained, I'm gonna lower the fine to 10,000.
Hey, they couldn't have. Yeah.
Because you're sincerely trying, whereas when you don't show up, I think you don't care.
No.
So, and you've already had a fine here, didn't you?
Yeah, there's a small one, I think we had one, a small one back in the day.
So I'm looking at 10,000 if I don't get real progress. And if I
Yeah.
get it all done, so much the better.
Yeah. Well, how much was the fine the first time? And yeah, isn't this like double jeopardy of some kind?
No, that's actually the state laws have actually, so this is actually good for folks at home. So what happens is, I think the fine was by our standards, small. I think it was like $3,000.
It's 3,000.
By our standards, we do 40, 20, 40, 60 grand. So once that's issued, once a fine is issued, whether it's $3,000, 30 grand, or $300, the process stops. And we have to reissue a citation.
So it's a new site.
This is the new one, right? So the first one, that $3,000, it is what it is. It's assessed. It's going to be on the land records. That's what it is. As a lien for whenever you sell the property. Or you can pay it off, or you can pay me, whichever one. But otherwise, so this is a new one. So if you do what's required from Attorney Overs and everything's good by August, and we don't, if we don't issue another fine, you only, that $3,000 on the land records, you don't owe us anything else.
Yeah, this is a little bit of pain, but I understand.
Yeah.
Um,
So yeah, I'll send you these via email.
Yeah.
Keep it easy. I'll send you these via email, and in that email, I'll say, hey, look, I'm gonna come out there. I'll bring the fire marshal as well.
Okay.
Let me know when most of that stuff's gone.
Okay.
Just shoot me an email.
Oh, well.
It can be in 3 weeks, doesn't matter. Just
Okay.
shoot me an email and say, hey, it's all gone or 99% gone. You guys come out.
Okay.
Perfect. All right, my friend, you're all set.
Thank you. Enjoy
Yeah,
your,
thanks for coming in.
enjoy your day off.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Have a good night.
Take care.
Take it easy. That's also, they didn't even know he's got a $3,000.
No.
It comes in here, everything's moving along, and I go, oh, yeah, you just knocked $3,000 off my property, and I didn't know about it. Yeah,
I dare to say this now, but I think it's worth saying. Like, I thought when these things, we issued these things and it goes to Stanford Court, it gets, assessed by Stanford. I thought there was like an immediate notice from like either Corporation Counsel or the court, one of the two, sending it to them, saying this has been assessed.
yeah.
I thought that happened. Apparently, the more that I do this, I'm not sure that happens.
So
Or if it does, it's not done adequately.
So how do we let them know? We should,
Well, from here on out, I think I'm going to do what we're doing with Adamson. I'm going to send Peter. Whether it's the assessed fines, we always send our counsel. We always send Peter. And so I might do for decisions that involve any fine, whether it's a contingent or a regular, send Peter.
Yeah,
And if it's out of state, then I'll send a certified.
okay,
I think that's the way to do it, just because
yeah, it sounds like.
I was just always under the assumption all these years that once the court
He didn't
signed
know
it,
about that.
once the court signed it,
He took $3,000 for my property, I don't even know about.
yeah, I just was under the assumption that once it was approved by the courts, somebody got notified. And,
Nothing like assuming, huh?
yeah, all right.
All right.
The last one, let's get,
left.
last one. This one, I can start it off with counsel for the, well, let me put it this way. Feel free to tell me to stop. The owner of the property is a trust. The trust is attorney Michael Barua. So even on the tax records, he is actually full owner of the property. And I have something I wanted to show you as well. It's not on the screen, but here, so that's the tax records.
And.
Attorney Barua. He has asked for a continuance. And the reason why then we can take that, because he is the owner. He is technically the owner. Because in here, I do have a copy, if you want for your own reference. That is the will and testament of the previous owner to start the trust to Attorney Barua. It's about 12 pages, but yeah, not here. If you want it here, I got it. New plastic dividers there, so we'll talk.
Insurance, what's in insurance? So have they moved? Just moving? How did it become? So bad. Let's see where that happened. Trust for your sons. Stop. Trust in. Where's the point of trust here? Really?
Yeah, it seems odd. I wouldn't think Attorney Barbarella would have that on the records with the town if it wasn't.
Unless we appointed trustee somewhere else. Probate court.
That may have been it. That's what he handed me during the inspection. We were at the property. He gave me that. He's like, here in case Attorney Overworth, Attorney Maslin will need it. Okay.
Interesting. Shed any light on how. In other words, what's on the land records showing ownership? Is that it?
So that's where they would get, yeah, tax assessor would, that's how they get, is whoever's listed on the land records. So I'm tending to believe he's not denying in any of the correspondence here. No, in any of our correspondence, he's not denying it whatsoever. If anything, he's validating it, saying, yeah, I'm in charge here. Let me, I'll handle this. And he's been the one that's been arranging the inspections, with us and Blight's involved in this one as well.
So somehow it got turned over. He became the trustee. I guess the probate court appointed him.
That would
That's probably what happened.
makes sense there.
Hearing the condition. Okay, so that's his ask.
Yeah.
For a continuance. I'm assuming you didn't object.
No, I did not.
Okay, so let's give him his continuance.
Yeah, it's for, he's a doctor's appointment, that's why he's not here today. So
This is first round.
first go around in front of you, correct? So we do have a decision form there. And we'll have a full hearing on this in August.
Okay. Signature.
No,
Continued to 8/20.
8/13.
8/13/25. Per request of council. That's trustee. Need the
85 Gregory Boulevard to August 13th. Excellent. Okay, so we got through that. So for those at home, our next set of hearings is with Ian, my colleague, on next week, which is the 23rd, 25th. Sorry, I'm looking at the calendar up there and I totally looked at the wrong month. The 25th. We will be back here with Attorney Olbers in July on the 23rd. So until then, take care, everyone, and that is it. And